everybody. Welcome back to the One Breath blog for the Suburban newspaper. I'm Karen Lewis. I am a life coach helping people transition in different phases of their life, but always helping them find more acceptance, more balance, and more compassion. Today we're actually going to talk about grief, which can be a tough topic, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Everybody has their journey in life, and the thing that we share is that we will all experience some loss and some grief, and even some trauma. We will all experience that. I know that during the pandemic and the lockdown, we all had a rapid change. Things were taken away from us that we just couldn't control. We were stuck in. Things changed. We had to adapt quickly. Managing loss and trauma and unexpected change is always a process. And it's a process that goes through many stages. The stages of grief were outlined many years ago, and they really have stuck. And the outline, the stages of grief were: there's shock, there's denial, there's anger, there's bargaining, depression, and then recently they added a sixth step, which is acceptance. And acceptance is about finding meaning from the grief or the trauma or the loss that you experienced. So I know I have moved through the stages of loss over the time of the pandemic, because initially there was shock, right? I mean, I don't know about for you, but for me, it was like, what is going on? This isn't happening here. I was in complete shock. And then, of course, there was denial. I'm still going on that trip I planned in mid-March. I'm going to go. This can't be happening. It will pass quickly. Not here, not now. The denial. And then there was anger. For sure there was anger. How could they keep me locked in my house? That's not right. I have rights. Where did this come from? And why did this have to happen? Right? And then for me, again, there was bargaining. There was like, maybe if I do everything right for 2 or 3 weeks, this will sort of go away. Things will go back to the way they were fast. So if I'm good, maybe this will end. And then, quite frankly, there was depression or, severe sadness. I miss my kids. I miss my routine. None of this is fun. And really, will it ever be the same again? What's going to happen? But then finally, there was acceptance. And the acceptance to me looked like, wow, this is really a terrible illness. It's very sad. I feel lonely. I'm not enjoying this. It's hard. But you know what? I better figure it out. So I learned how to use Zoom, okay? And I signed up for some classes. And I figured out who I could rely on for support and how I could make this time work for me. Because what else was I going to do? I had to find acceptance and meaning in it. And that's where these blogs started. So someone described a phrase to me, and it was PTGO, post-traumatic growth opportunity. And this is not to diminish anybody who has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because that is a very real disorder and it is serious. But maybe in this time, we can also use the phrase PTGO, post-traumatic growth opportunity. And in the same way that we add acceptance and finding meaning in the stages of grief, maybe we can find some opportunity for growth in the situation of the lockdown, the situation of COVID-19, the situation of the economy. What are some of the growth opportunities that you've been given by the fact that we're in this situation? Is it learning Zoom? Is it reconnecting with old friends? Is it reevaluating some of your values and maybe your way of living? Maybe it's about feeling grateful for the things that we had that we might not have now, that we're hoping to have again. So I'd like you to give some thought as the week goes by to what your PTGO, what your post or even during the trauma growth opportunities might be. Maybe it's starting a mindfulness practice or something else. In what ways have you been able to grow from this experience or any other loss experience to better understand yourself, to help yourself cope, and to learn to grow and thrive? So today I'd like to do a meditation. It's one of my favorites, but I think I say that almost every week. And it's called the mountain meditation. And the mountain meditation is also adapted. I say also because the lake meditation, which I just mentioned, is also from Jon Kabat-Zinn. You can find examples of it on the internet, or you can listen to this one over and over again. So with that, if you'd like to find a comfortable position, and we will start with the mountain meditation. So you can begin by finding a comfortable position. This meditation is usually done sitting in a chair or in some other sitting position, something that's comfortable but alert. And you can begin by gently closing your eyes or letting them rest on a spot in front of you. And just take a moment to pay attention to the places where your body is making contact with the floor or the chair. And find a position of stability, poise, your upper body balanced over your hips, your shoulders loose and comfortable, but awake. Your hands can be on your lap, on your knees. You can cup them together, place them down to feel stability, or up if you're looking to receive. And actually sense into your body, feeling your feet, feeling your legs, your hips, your lower body, your upper body. Just taking a moment. Include your arms, of course, your shoulders and your neck. And moving up to your head. And if you feel comfortable, you can feel those edges right at the corner of the inside of your mouth. And you can let them turn upward into a slight smile. Gentle smile. This meditation is truly a practice of joy. And it's a gift that you give yourself. And when you're ready, bring your awareness to your breath, feeling each breath as it comes in and goes out. Letting the breath be just as it is, without trying to change or regulate it in any way. Allowing it to flow easily and naturally with its own rhythm and pace. knowing you are breathing perfectly well right now. There is nothing for you to do. Inhaling and exhaling. And allowing the body to be still and sit with a sense of dignity, a sense of complete whole in this very moment. And as you sit here, let an image form in your mind's eye of the most magnificent or beautiful mountain you know, or you have seen, or you can imagine. Letting it gradually come into greater focus. And even if it doesn't come as a visual image, allowing the sense of this mountain and feeling its overall shape, its lofty peaks, or its one peak, the large base rooted in the bedrock of the earth's crust, its steep or gently sloping sides. Noticing how massive it is, how solid, how unmoving, how beautiful. Whether from afar or up close. Perhaps your mountain has snow blanketing its top and trees reaching down to the base, or rugged granite sides. There may be streams and waterfalls cascading down the slopes. There may be one peak or a series, or with meadows and high lakes. Observing it, noting its qualities, and when you feel ready, see if you can bring the mountain into your own body, sitting here, so that your body and the mountain in your mind's eye become one. So that as you sit here, you share in the shape and the stillness and the majesty of the mountain. You become the mountain. Grounded in a sitting posture, your head becomes the peak, supported by the rest of the body, your shoulders and arms, the sides of the mountain, your buttocks and legs, a solid base rooted to your chair, experiencing in your body a sense of uplift from deep within your pelvis and spine. With each breath, as you continue sitting, become a little more a breathing mountain, alive and vital, yet unwavering in your stillness, completely what you are, beyond words and thought. a centered, grounded, unmoving presence. And as you sit here, become aware of the fact that as the sun travels across the sky, the light and the shadows, colors are changing virtually moment by moment in the mountain's stillness. And the surface teems with life and activity. There are streams and melting snow, waterfalls, plants, and wildlife. And as the mountain sits, seeing and feeling how night follows day and day follows night, the bright, warming sun followed by the cool night sky and the gradual dawning of a new day. And throughout it all, the mountain just sits, experiencing change in each moment, constantly changing, yet always just being itself. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another, and as the weather changes moment by moment and day by day. Calmness, abiding all change. In summer, there is no snow on the mountain, except perhaps for the very peaks. And in the fall, the mountain may wear a coat of brilliant fire colors. In winter, a blanket of snow and ice. In any season, it may find itself at times enshrouded in clouds or fog or pelted by rain. People may come to see the mountain and comment on how beautiful it is, or how it's not a good day at all to see this mountain. It's too cloudy or rainy or foggy or dark. But none of this matters to the mountain. The mountain remains at all times its essential self. Clouds may come and clouds may go. Tourists may like it or not. But the mountain's magnificence and beauty are not changed one bit by whether people see it or not. Seen or unseen, in sun or clouds, broiling hot or frigidly cold, day or night, it just sits, being itself. At times it's visited by violent storms and buffeted by snow and rain, and perhaps winds of unthinkable magnitude. Through it all, the mountain sits. Spring comes, leaves come out, flowers bloom in the high deserts and slopes. Birds sing in their trees once again. Streams overflow with the water of melting snow. And through it all, the mountain continues to sit, unmoved by the weather, by what happens on its surface, by the world of appearances, remaining its essential self through the seasons, through the changing weather. In the same way as we sit in meditation, we can learn to experience the mountain. We can embody the same central, unwavering stillness and groundedness in the face of everything that changes in our own lives over seconds, over hours, over years. In our lives and in our meditation practice, we experience constantly the changing nature of the mind and the body of the outer world. We have our own periods of light and darkness, activity and inactivity, our moments of color and our moments of drabness. It's true that we experience storms of very varying intensity and violence in the outer world and in our own minds and bodies, buffeted by high winds, by cold and rain. But we endure periods of darkness and pain, as well as the moments of joy and uplifting. Even our appearance changes constantly, experiencing a weather of its own. By becoming the mountain in our meditation practice, we can link up with the strength and stability. We can use its energies to support our energy to encounter each moment with mindfulness. It may help us see that our thoughts and our feelings, our preoccupations, our emotional storms are very much like the weather on the mountain. The weather of our own lives is not to be ignored or denied. It is to be encountered, honored, felt, known for what it is, and then held in awareness. And in holding it in this way, we come to know a deeper silence and stillness and wisdom. Mountains have this to teach us, and much more. So if you find you resonate in some way with the strength and stability of the mountain in your sitting, it may be helpful to use it from time to time in your meditation practice to remind you of what it means to sit mindfully with resolve and with wakefulness in true stillness. True stillness. So for the next few moments, continue to sustain the mountain meditation on your own in silence, moment by moment, until you hear the sound of the bell. I hope that was nice for you. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. I'm glad my dog didn't start barking. When she hears the bell, she sometimes starts barking, which is always a nice way to end a very calm meditation with a dog, barking dog. Anyway, mountain meditation from Jon Kabat-Zinn about stillness, even in the face of many things changing. Before I leave, I'd like to read you a poem. It circulated a lot during the pandemic, but I still want to share it. I found it very poignant. I'm going to share it on my screen with you so you can read it as I do. So it says, "This is timeless. And people stayed home and read books and listened, and they rested and did exercises and made art and played and learned new ways of being and stopped and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, someone met their shadow, and people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, the earth also began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for those that were dead and made new choices and dreamed of new visions and created new ways of living and completely healed the earth, just as they were healed." And believe it or not, that was written in 1869 and reprinted in 1919 during the pandemic then. I know it's probably not the pandemic now, and that things have opened up. And it would be great if you could look back at some of the things that you experienced and find which of them led you to grow in new ways. We experience so many different things, and what's really important is what we learn from them. So with that, have a beautiful week, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the Just One Breath meditation blog. Take care.